Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in today, watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM, channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates. Busy hour on tap, including beginning with a bang as a professional gambler, Randy McKay joins the program in studio today. Good to see you, Big Randy. How are you?
Hello, Merry Christmas. I'm kind of like a misfit toy here in Vegas. First Christmas ever in Vegas, and
good for you.
I'm kind of like Charlie in the box, I guess.
What brings you to Vegas then this year of all years?
No family Christmas this year, so I had some different offers at different casinos. So I figured, this will be the week to do it. It's nice and slow in the casinos, so good time of year to get some of that end of the year, especially with this big, beautiful bill. I don't know where I'm going to be sitting next year, so that's another topic that could be a problem.
Well, we have to talk to you about that. You brought it up, so why don't we start there then? What do the members of this audience need to know if they forgot about it, never heard about it, maybe it's out of sight, out of mind right now, what that means to you and a lot of other people potentially here if it passes?
So high volume, high limit type players, let's say you lose $500,000 in a year and you win $500,000. Well, now you got to do tax on $50,000, because you can only do up to 90% back. So that's going to hurt a lot as far as anybody playing big. Of course, this 2,000 threshold is going to help a little bit, but anybody that plays bigger than that is really going to get hurt if this doesn't get changed. I can switch my ways a little bit and play games that I won't get taxed on. There's decent games I've played before, like blackjack machines that are decent with decent points, or bubble craps. I used to play that a lot as well. I could switch to that.
But in terms of popping a big royal flush at this point, you typically play single play, $5 denomination, and you've cracked plenty of $20,000 royals. That's where it's really going to hurt you then, right?
Yeah, that's really going to hurt a lot, and I'm just going to have to cut back till they change it, unfortunately, and it's going to hurt in the contest too. I got to decide, if you want to keep doing these contests for the big buy-ins, and that's going to affect those as well.
Like that Grandissimo, will that affect something like Super Contest Gold?
Yeah, I think it would affect them all. You can only, if you win one, then you can only, file back 90% of losses you have the other way.
I know Derek's been pushing for it big time. Like, come on, this is not sensible. We got to come to our, think about this a little bit more. 90% makes no sense. Mm-hmm. He's not the only guy. I mean, a lot of the big, higher up CEOs here in Las Vegas have been saying the same thing. Like, what are you doing here? You can't ding the gamblers that much.
Yeah, definitely. He was here at Bet Bash too when I was here, and of course they had the gal from Nevada. She was pushing for it as a bipartisan. Of course, Ted Cruz, he's a Republican from Texas, well known. He's a big fan of gambling and a big friend of Phil Hellmuth.
Okay, excellent. So I saw you yesterday, and you sent this picture in. And you've used to, great story, and it'd be great to put something on the website, film a video, about picking up multipliers and what people leave on a machine, vultures, whatever term you want to use. You used to be able to do it on a regular basis in Las Vegas, but there's so many people, forget about it now, they're always looking for multipliers.
I saw it today with my own eyes.
Yeah, okay. Mitch loves this game, Ultimate X bonus streak, where if you get dealt something nice in a full house, it's going to hold on for the ride. It's a party. So tell us what you walked by this machine and what it was on and what you scooped and how you won $4,000, please.
So right below where it says jackpot hand pay, there's an 8X on there and there's a couple 2Xs. So that game, you got to play double of what you play normally. It's different than Ultimate X where you can just play it off.
Yeah.
This game, you have to fire double of the bet. So that's a $100 bet right there. And, fortunately, I hit 4 aces with a kicker for 4,000. Had I hit it on the line below, it would have been 32,000. Mm-hmm. But you can make a huge score playing that game, And people, they go broke on that game very easily because you got to bet double what you do, and then they leave the ladder multipliers. There's like a 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10
12,
one. Yeah, it goes all the way up sometimes.
Yeah.
And people will leave that because they go broke or they hit a jackpot and they're happy.
Yep. So on the screen, you see next hand. Like he said, next hand, 8, 10, 12, and you walked into Merry Christmas you're right, you did get it on top with no multiplier. But how often does this happen? And were you just minding your own business and you look over and see, oh my God, someone left a big boy here?
Yeah, a lot of times when I'm playing in high limit, I'll just look over and, somebody will leave one, or, sometimes I even check them every once in a while, and they're just sitting there like, I'm sure if you show the other one on the Ultimate X, that was up at Circa here, and I was just walking into high limit, and all of a sudden there's a deuces one just sitting there.
What was that one?
I hit for 1,000 on one line on the deuces. I hit for like 1,500 total.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I was playing here, my machine that I popped a couple of times this year. This goes back a couple of months. A guy was sitting down right next to me. He hit 4 aces on 10 play. And he wasn't dealt it, but he hit a couple of them when he was dealt 3. And he sat there for a minute. I don't think he could believe how much it actually paid at the time. It wasn't a jackpot, but it was close. Mm-hmm. He got up and left. I'm watching this unfold. I'm like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I quickly pulled out I went over to his seat immediately, and I had to.
Oh, yeah.
You're making a huge mistake if you didn't. I didn't hit anything, but that was a huge mistake by him.
Is this the go ahead.
That's a $1,500 bill just sitting there.
That's true.
EV,
true.
Yeah.
Is this the number one game where people leave multipliers?
It's one of them, yeah. Like the other games, some of the other slot machines, of course, you're going for must hits or that kind of thing. People leave them up high as well. But, yeah, this is definitely one of them in the video poker world that you'll see. And
excellent.
I'm sure our friend Frank has talked about.
Oh, he told the story over at one of the strip casinos. He walked right into it. Yeah,
How common is this? He walked into an originator.
Yeah.
Can you explain what these guys were? How often does this happen? What these guys were doing, and explain, because you know the story.
I walked into one right across the street at the Golden Nugget one time. A guy was in high limit.
Okay.
And he was doing it to a guy, and then he left, and I quickly jumped in and took all his multipliers.
Oh, he did?
He started swearing at me.
So one guy leaves the multipliers. Mm-hmm. He takes the loss to get the free play in the mailers. His buddy will come in and then scoop it, and then but this is where you got to be sitting next to the guy, as they made a mistake with Frank B. And here you saw what was going on, and you jumped in with a body check, and you came in and scooped it.
Yeah, they talked the tourist into playing them. These machines are hot. They'll even show you a picture of what you can hit on these games, getting you to play it, and then they finagle them to leave all the multipliers on different games.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Were you nervous at all? Did they threaten you?
There's security kind of right by there. It was across the street, and there's security right there. So I just yelled security. he went storming away.
There you go. All right. How about non-video poker games? Is it the Hens game? Is it Helix? What are games out here that you see various places where people leave a lot of no idea that they're leaving juicy multipliers or bonuses?
Yeah, and they leave those. Like on the Hens, they leave the Hens loaded up with bonuses and that kind of thing. These games are dying off a little bit. Of course, in town here, they're checking them, pretty regularly. And Buffalo Ascension was another one I think I showed last time.
Yep.
That one's pretty much dying out. There's still a few around, but even people were getting trouble playing those games. They were taking away their offers.
How much time do you think you need to tell the story of the card drawings? Do you need 8-10 minutes?
Yeah, I can do it on the next one.
Yeah, because you're going to hang out in studio here. You also obviously big into college football, the lower levels, bowl games. I know it's turned into a different deal altogether, obviously, with the transfer portal and everything. Is there a game or two on the radar that you like that maybe a number is worth betting right now?
I was lucky 6-1 in the FCS playoffs this year. And, of course, I'm on Crack's podcast every week, so I gave out most of them there. I'm on with Jimmy Ott as well as on with him this morning, and I mentioned how this Illinois State team is getting 10 points. It's kind of a conflicting game for me because the coach for Montana State, I was assistant baseball coach for him when he was in high school. Small world.
Wow.
But so I'm kind of rooting for him to win. But, I just think this Illinois State team has, after they beat North Dakota State, they have a fear of they're not going to lose to anybody, and this game is going to be a really good one. It's not for a couple weeks here. And they're betting Montana State like they got tomorrow's newspaper. So
they were awesome in the second half on Saturday.
Was that the strangest box score you've ever seen? Illinois State, North Dakota State?
Oh, with the 5 interceptions and
the yards?
Yeah, they just didn't give up, and they were down 14 and close, and then they had a big run. And, that coach has been there forever, Brock Specht. He decided, let's go for 2, go for the win, which is the right call when you're a big underdog. And he got it, and then North Dakota State couldn't do anything with the ball.
Do you think we can ever see that at the higher level? We just watched James Madison get waxed and also Tulane get killed. Are they ever going to be able to compete with the big boys?
I don't know about the playoffs, but every once in a while you see it during the regular season. You know, some of these teams are, you know, sleeping against these smaller schools, and that's why I like to bet the smaller schools, and I like to follow them. You know, Richie B, I think, talked about a lot. He bets a lot of those, and so does Kenny White. Richie
B says he likes to roll up his sleeves and dive into the trash.
Yeah, he does a lot of funny things.
And college basketball too. He loves it. Would you have a guy that you would be in charge of tipping people with drawings?
Oh, you're talking about, yeah. There was some drawings I used to be involved in way back, and this is way back in the day when I first started, was learning. And let's put it this way: if you gave the guy a $20 bill, pretty much if you're in that drawing, there were small drawings, but pretty much you were going to get picked.
For $20?
Yeah, if you're playing, you're going to get picked in that drawing if you're on property when he was calling out the names.
Well, to win what? What are we talking about here?
You know, anywhere from $250 to like $500. You know, $500 was maybe the top. You had to pick out of envelopes and stuff.
Unbelievable.
$100 was just like the small prize.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
But you've also won several cars.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So just hang on to that. You're going to stick around for one more segment. Professional gambler Randy McKay, kind enough to join us here a couple of days before Christmas in town. Advantage player for many years. And he's won, like I said, several car drawings. He has a secret to share. We'll tell you what it is coming up next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here. Advantage player, professional gambler Randy McKay for many years in studio with us. You just told me during the break you've never had a cannoli before?
Yeah, I never had one. Of course, growing up in Midwest area, I've had lutefisk and lefse, which is my favorite. Lefse is really good.
I love lefse.
I asked him during the break. He goes, "Well, I'm not Italian." What does that mean?
You had pizza?
Yes, right. Unbelievable. You're the man. How many car drawings have you won?
So combined with partners, I've probably won, pretty close to I think 14 total.
Oh, my God.
And I got a shot at the end of the year to win this, last one and get me to 15. We'll see if it happens, but it's at a kind of obscure location. Maybe I'll get lucky and get it.
How many times did you take the vehicle or opt for the cash?
I'd say that's about 50-50 because a lot of times they were giving you a good enough offer where it was better to take the cash. Or I had a buyer a couple times that wanted the vehicle. Like
right.
I won. I forget what kind of at Silverton. The one year I won can't think of the name of the vehicle, but the poker player wanted James Van Alstyne, so I sold it to him.
Okay,
very nice.
All right, so I was sitting side by side one time with you. And we were in a drawing here at Golden Gate, and they you call your damn name. You get cash, and you're in for the car drawing. And you look at me and you go, "I bet you have two times as many tickets as I do." Funny, and they draw your name. So there's a method to the madness here. Why you've won 14 car drawings? Show us your skill or your secret here about how you do this, and they keep drawing your name.
So there's not many ticket drawings anymore. It's all electronic, which is bad for everybody in my community anyway. So you had to adapt. Back when there's all ticket drawings, you could, there was no rules that say you couldn't do this. So you could either put in a flat ticket. Now here's a picture of a flat ticket from Derek's parlay card.
Yep.
Or here's a four-cornered one. And if you're just a random person reaching in there, of course it's a lot easier to get the four-corner one than try to find the flat one. And if you did them all cornered like that, it gave you a way better chance to get drawn. I mean, you're not guaranteed, but of course these corner ones always were way easier to pick. And then they finally started coming up with rules too. They put on the bin no bent tickets. That was another thing they started to do to negate this, because a lot of places saw, hey, these bent tickets are always getting picked. Well, I wonder why.
So, what do you remember? Like the most amount of tickets you've ever had in a drawing before, and then you yourself would go through and like put the four corners on it every single time?
Yeah, back in the day when I was playing real heavy for card drawings, it would take me a good over an hour to bend all these tickets like this. You know, it's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Or
and then you would place them in the drum on your own?
Yeah, I'd come in with a big bag, you know, like a big, big shopping bag or whatever, you know, and then put all the tickets in there, and people would look at me like I was crazy.
They're the crazy ones for not doing it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to come and put something in the refrigerator or in the freezer, like with the Patrick Ewing, if there was some shenanigans. It's just an origami, and that's been the key to your success through all these years.
Yeah, it's been very good. And, you know, maybe there's some obscure casinos, or, you know, maybe people are listening where they still do it this way. Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to have a little edge if you play at those casinos. But most of them now with these new systems are all electronic.
Okay. How about the story where you took a bad beat after what happened at the Venetian and how this impacted you in New Mexico?
So there was two guys in charge of this drawing at the Venetian, and they made sure this high-rolling guy got picked because he lost a bunch of money. And I wasn't in Vegas at the time. I was down doing my gig in New Mexico that I've talked about with the Deuces Wild machines. And they got fired, and this dang Indian tribe had to hire these two guys. You know, they were smart guys, I guess, because they picked up on this advantage game, you know, over 2% video poker game that we were playing there that I played for years. But, you know, all good things come to an end, but that was a tough one.
Yeah, because you moved to New Mexico specifically to play that machine because it was paying out so well.
Yeah, it was worth over $100 an hour just to sit there and grind every day on it. And, you know, it was a decent place to live. I mean, it wasn't, you know, New Mexico isn't the most exciting state in the world, but it was okay.
Yeah, I remember the story. I don't remember what happened. Were they hit gaming, fines, everything for what happened, rigging the card drawing?
Yeah, gaming got a hold of that one, and they couldn't get a license, I don't think, anymore in Nevada. Then I was surprised the Indian tribes acknowledged that. I bet it wouldn't happen now.
How'd they uncover it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't heard all the details. Maybe AC knows I'm sure he knows all the details, but they finally figured out. Maybe they got ratted out too.
Do you recall like the biggest percent chance you've ever had to win a big drawing and you didn't win?
When I didn't win, that was at the, and I'll tell the story too. It was at the M Resort when, you know, this company isn't there anymore, Cantor Gaming. They've been fined many times for bad activities, and they used to have this E-Deck Gaming. In that first year, they were real aggressive with it. They gave you huge bonuses for playing, and I did real well in that and made some money. And then they had a card drawing that lasted, 10 months. Every week they'd give away a $1,000 prize, which I was hitting every week. I was like the only one playing for it. And then 2 weeks before the drawing, all of a sudden this young gal starts playing. I'm like, where did this young gal come from? And then later I find out that it was a CEO's like stepdaughter or something like that. And of course, I probably had over 90% of the drawing for the electronic drawing, and she got picked.
And she was eligible to win it?
Yeah, she was eligible to get picked in the rules because she wasn't an immediate family.
Oh, good point. Yeah, good catch there. What happened with the one incident at the Hilton? Now it's the Westgate when it was the Hilton.
Yeah, I guess, I can tell that one too. So they were giving away like Hondas and, different lower end type vehicles, which, still worth, good money. And we decided to take a shot at that, me and a friend of mine, and, it was decent because they had a good mailer. And we didn't realize that they were going to bring in this container of keys. And of course, if you pick the right key, which the one that starts a car, it's got ridges and, like a regular key. Of course, now we have fobs and we don't even have car keys anymore. But the one that won the car was, and they were giving away 3 of them, all had ridges in, and they're all in this clear container. And the ones that were losers all had these flat, like demo keys that you can still get at the dealership if you need to start your vehicle if you lose your other car. So there must have been 100 keys in there, but they didn't care if you even looked in, and you can just pick out your right key to get it the first few times. And I think they had to give out more cars than they were supposed to. They're supposed to only give away like 3 or 4 cars, and they ended up having to give away like 5 or 6 back in the day.
So you get there for the drawing day, and you realize, oh my God, this is a clear box. And hold on a second here. Do I see a couple of keys with ridges on it that actually might be the real deal?
Yeah.
And you can look in.
And then you had to work on, and then eventually you worked on your hands to make sure you felt like a flat one or one with grooves in it. And I've seen that done a couple times. That was the only one where they used a clear box. I've seen it done with kind of a hidden box where I had to reach in and try to find it that way, and I missed. And the old man hit it behind me. But that was back in the day, and that was a good one. Like these casinos used to give away a lot of cars back in the day, and that was like a lot of your big edge to play for these promotions.
The last time Frank B was in, he told the story of Robert X. And he
laughs immediately.
You're laughing already? Yeah. So Robert X was also like an advantage player, but if you needed a guy to play the machines with a big progressive, you'd call him in. And one time he asked for a room because he'd been playing 12-hour sessions and wanted to take a nap, but he had no shame. So then when it's time for Frank B to check out, he'd see like MILF Hunter 6 on there or something with the adult videos.
They only made 5, Paul. Come on, let's not get crazy
Dallas
here.
or something. Yeah.
Debbie does Dallas. Good call. So what can you tell us about Robert X?
So I'll add to that story, too. He's also friends with Phil Hellmuth. He was back in the day.
Okay.
So anytime he saw Robert X or Phil Hellmuth would see Robert X, he'd give him $100. So Robert X always went broke. But if he owed you money and the World Series was in town, that was a time to go collect from him because Phil was giving him $100 every time he saw him. So, but when I used him, I pumped up his card so he could stay in the hotel. And they didn't charge, I didn't have to use my credit card. So he never Robert X'd me. He Robert X'd a lot of other people, but he never got me on the Robert X.
Oh, you got lucky.
But it's just
lucky. Imagine being put in that position. When they tell Frank, what movies? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The guy orders 5 pornos.
Yeah.
But also, it speaks to like people that you've had though before, like that you need in a pinch, right? Frank was telling us like he had an ID guy. Yeah. I need an ID in a pinch. Can you make me one?
Yeah, you got to have those type people on, just in case, that.
The best is if they thought someone was holding on to money and not giving. They give a lie detector. Take a lie detector right there. Hook the guy up. I think you're holding out on us.
Yeah, blackjack players have a lot. I'm not a blackjack player, or at least as much as them guys. I play a lot of video blackjack, but I never did as much. I played some 2-to-1 promotions on table games, but them blackjack guys, they can think of a lot of ways, especially at the, hear all them stories at the blackjack ball.
You want to hang around for another segment, or you got to go?
Sure.
We'll talk some NFL coming up here and Follow the Money is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Great stories this hour. Professional gambler Randy McKay in studio. If you miss any of it, at the end of the show, a little bit later on today, the Follow the Money podcast will post wherever you get your podcasts. You've also been betting the NFL and playing in Vegas contests for many, many years. Best finish was 7th years ago, Super Contest. But you play Super Contest, you play Super Contest Gold, you play Circa Millions, you do all of it.
Yeah, I've had 3 top 10 finishes in the Westgate over the years. The first year I was in it, I finished in the top 10, but there was only a couple hundred people back then. But that's been successful for me. Circa hasn't been. I had the one good year a couple years ago where I got 14th and 48th, and the Survivor's just been frustrating because I've gotten to Thanksgiving I think 4 times now, and can't get by it. Or I got by it a couple times, but I haven't been able to finish, which. Of course, that's the big money, and you're hoping to do that. But maybe one of these years, and hopefully we still get to do it.
Okay, let's start with the games that we have on Thursday now. The Cowboys up to 7 at Washington. Look at this. The Lions are now touching 7.5 at Minnesota. Denver is laying 13.5 at Kansas City. All of these teams that are big dogs, Randy, are on their third-string quarterback. Forget second-string, third-string here. How do you handicap this?
Yeah, very tough. Of course, you got probably take the generalization and 2-3 points off for each quarterback. So let's say a Minshew to the South Dakota State guy. You got to go another 3 points. I forgot he was even on that. I was like, who's Kansas City's backup? And then I saw it was the old South Dakota State quarterback, and I was like, yeah, but he's been in the system for a while. You kind of got to look up how they do and that kind of thing. And, there's some you just want to plain stay away from. Like if both Green Bay quarterbacks are hurt, I want no part of Clayton Tune. I know that. But there's some of those I just, you just kind of figure, and hopefully they, the coach, you got to look at the coach too. Is it Shanahan coaching them, or Andy Reid, or, somebody decent that knows offense rather than, like the guy for the Jets, or, some of these coaches that aren't that good.
Well, how would you play this if you were still left in Circa Survivor with 5 people that have to use an underdog on Christmas, and you're looking at a money line now of like 330 on the favorite?
Yeah, that's a tough deal. Of course, they can kind of play back, but then you got to lose money to do it. Mm-hmm. So that's a tough deal for them.
I mean, about 900,000 to win 3.
Yeah.
This is a fiasco.
It's a rough deal. Probably a good deal for if Derek is banking them, which sounds like he gives them credit. So that's probably a good deal for him, which makes sense for him to do that. And that'd be a tough deal. I would have had Detroit left. Okay. I actually would have had Dallas and Washington left too, had I made it through, which I was pretty close as well.
Okay. So Tomlin came out today. He said he backed Metcalf, but didn't condone what he did, though. So you have a Metcalf suspension. You have a huge game coming up against Cleveland, possible weather. But first things first, the Ravens play Saturday. Tomlin said if the Ravens lose, it will impact how we play guys, how long they play, etc. This is correlated. What do you bet? Yeah,
I already bet Cleveland some 4.5 and then some more 3.5 today. You guys use Boomers as a sponsor. I heard you on with Nick earlier. I gave him a little shot, and he takes bets. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad to get down a little bit with him. And, so I got down a little bit there with him as well. And this game's kind of correlated. If Baltimore doesn't beat Green Bay here, they're going to be in that's pretty much a clinch game, and it'll be Rudolph and company probably for the second half. The Steelers will play their guys some, but they'll make sure that the injured guys get some good rest for the next couple weeks.
And Cleveland Super Bowl too. I like
always
that
Cleveland
angle.
Super Bowl.
That's a good angle, and they always do well at home against them. It's down to 3 in some spots as well. How about the Green Bay angle? If you can get one of the quarterbacks, but how are they going to treat this if Detroit
What if the Lions lose?
Yeah, the Lions could lose this game. They lost, surprisingly to Minnesota earlier in a game. I didn't see that one coming. And, these two teams always play each other close. The Vikings' defense is always game, and Detroit's defense is really banged up here. And Rosemer looked a little better than he did against Seattle, to eventually get the win. It's kind of generic, but get the win against the Giants. So, this could be a good game plan. And, these two teams always play each other close. So, this could be a closer game. And, of course, you got to monitor these situations this week going into the last week, like Carolina and Tampa Bay. That's another one where maybe, Tampa Bay has to win where Carolina really doesn't. So you kind of got to play that in as well.
I would love Minnesota if McCarthy did not get hurt. The look ahead was Lions 3. I'd bet Minnesota 3, and I'd bet him on the money line as well.
Yeah, that's what's always tough on the look aheads when you get a bad injury. Sometimes that works with you, and sometimes that works against you, unfortunately, and that didn't work out so well. But I bet the look aheads a lot as well.
So how about the game theory then for a contest? And Pauly brought this up earlier with a couple of guys who were at the very top for a majority of the year. They slipped a little bit now out of the top 10 last week. Would you consider playing some of these games on Thanksgiving Day thinking that you're almost going to be on an island? And again, once you put in your picks, that's it. Like if you put in the Thanksgiving picks, you have to have all of them in. And so for the entire week, would you consider playing some of those games on Turkey Day, hoping that nobody else would?
Yeah, if you like 2 or 3 of them, I'd definitely play the early games and put in my whole card. Then you at least have 40% of your picks in there, and I think that's a smart way to go. And like you said, a lot of the other competition ahead of you won't play them type of games, and I did that as well when I got 14th 2 years ago. I put in the Ravens when, of course, Huntley was hurt against the Steelers. And Mason Rudolph threw his one good pass of the season to beat me there. That was cost me the top 10, unfortunately. But I did that same situation 2 years ago.
Excellent.
Were you part of the Eagles' money at all this week? Bills are down to 1.5 now at home.
I only used them in a couple of teaser spots. I still have, some decent outs with teasers. And it'd be nice if the Vegas, markets got back into letting you do 2-team teasers and that kind of thing with decent odds. But of course, you kind of got to fish around for some of that. And so I only played the Eagles in a teaser. And I'm against Buffalo. I don't think they can win it, and I don't think the team last night, San Fran, can win it. Just because of their defenses.
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely. Professional advantage player Randy McKay, our guest, Follow the Money, Pauly and Mitch Veason, the Sports Betting Network. Did you see the video poker hit at Resorts World? $1.2 million. Is that the largest you've heard of on a video poker?
Yeah, the largest I seen prior to that was a guy who was playing $25 10 play at Verona, and he flopped one. That photo was out for quite a while, and that was probably 8-10 years ago. That was the biggest one for $1 million.
Okay.
This is the biggest one I've seen, 1.2 million. And what an incredible hit to get flop the Royal and then have it come up 20 times. I can't even hit one with a multiplier in that game when I've played it before.
Have you ever had 20? Never had 20 at all?
No, the biggest I've hit on Ultimate X or that game has been a 4X. I've never hit above a 4X Royal.
Wow.
So I've been a little bit snake bit, but still successful.
Well, so what Pauly's talking about here is the double super happy times, right? And so the first time it kicks out for you on the kind of like the bonus, the highest and go is 10. And then on the double means you can get another one, and that came to 10 again. I've been playing that game a little bit lately. The highest I've ever gotten is 14. And that's by far the most I've ever had.
Hard to do.
To get 20 and then for it to pop a Royal, I mean, my God. Do you have any idea what the odds on that would be?
Incredible. 650,000 to 1 plus whatever it is to get the multipliers. You're looking at, bigger than hitting this lottery. That's way up. If people should go out and play some lottery tickets, the lottery is at a good amount right now. So maybe you'll get lucky and hit that as well.
How about the guy who hit megabucks twice at the same casino? He was a World War II vet, Elmer something. How about that guy? Would you even play if you hit? The guy hit megabucks twice, same place.
Well, God bless him for being a World War II vet, for one. I had two uncles that died in World War II, so good for him. I guess the karma, he deserved those 2 megabuck hits.
Well, if you ever hit megabucks, is that it for you? Would you call it a day?
I don't know what I would do with my life, so you never know.
Car dry still?
Probably, yeah.
You never know. I mean, I'm not a guy that's going to hang out at a tropical island and sip pina coladas or something. I'm more likely to go to like Antarctica and hang out with the penguins.
Good for you, man. All right, good to see you. That was good. Looking for the perfect holiday gift or smarter way to bet the biggest games of the season? VSiN's holiday special gives you VSiN Pro access through May 1st, just $79. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The AI-powered prop tools, the 24/7 video on the Watch app, college football betting guide. Give yourself the gift of smarter betting. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe. The menu is incredible. Everything that's up there, bowl previews of every game, and the props and a full NBA card today. And then we're here on Christmas as well. VSiN.com/subscribe. Let's hang with the Penguins.
Randy McKay has been in studio with us here for the last 45 minutes. Professional gambler. Merry Christmas. Thank you. You're on X, by the way, at RR39 if people want to follow you.
Yeah, pretty easy one, RR39. And I give away some Christmas videos on there. I put, if you guys want to have a twisted Christmas, I put them videos on. And
very good.
Also give away some picks once in a while.
There you go. Have a great week. In Pocket Plays coming up next year on VSiN.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
Incredible game last night in terms of what cashed. Of all games where you see these crazy payouts and crazy props that hit, man, and if they don't pull Rivers, the 60, the 40, the 20 to 1s, that came in, incredible. So it was all about Rivers and selling out to stop the run. Nothing for Taylor. The one prop that did hit, CMC and Taylor, 150 yards rushing combined and a touchdown, plus 170. But the Taylor 20 yards rushing each quarter, no good. Plus 550 as they couldn't get anything going on the ground. And the Bears to miss the playoffs at plus 160 as a loser. Two interesting trends tonight in hockey. And it's a fun night with a loaded NBA schedule. And it's a decent hockey schedule as well. Before I get to that, the bowl game Saturday. 8 bowl games Saturday? 8? And 2 NFL games?
Not enough for you? You want more?
Can't spread this out a better job? Army money line, $1.45 up to 9. And
actually, you know what? They could probably play Friday, huh?
Yeah, I think there's 3 games Friday, but that's, yeah.
This year, treat it like Black Friday right after Christmas. Boom, sneak them in.
Navy Lane 4 against Cincinnati. That's moved as well. Again, the Service Academy's 18-3 ATS run going back in bowl games. No opt-outs, maximum effort. Great job, and the lines have moved in our favor. Colorado at home has scored a goal in the first 10, 14 in a row. If you don't want to lay the $2, you can go first 5 and shop that and get plus money because, again, Colorado has been incredible scoring in their games and the Avalanche in the first couple minutes of their games and periods. So, 14 in a row, goal in the first 10 at home. Seattle Kraken on a back-to-back in L.A. Kings also on a back-to-back. This one, I wouldn't go crazy because the Kings are in poor form right now as well. We don't want to lay the big juice, the 230, 240 on the Kings to win the game. Kings to win in regulation. Seattle has lost 17 in a row on back-to-backs, and they've been held to 2 goals or fewer in 16 of them. So there's different ways you can attack this. You can go puck line, regulation, the Seattle team total under, every which way but loose here. And the last time they did, it was a 1-0 final, I think, against the Islanders in overtime that they had their back-to-back. But again, it's just been the gift that keeps on giving and how bad Seattle has been on a back-to-back. So good luck out there. And there's always some good tidbits, trends, and juicy nuggets out there.
All right, best luck, Pauly. Yeah, no good last night either. Taylor, 10-plus rushing yards each quarter, get 8 in the second quarter. So that was no good. And the longest rush over 17 and a half. Nope. And the game plan was a little weird to me.
Yeah, surprising.
Steichen thought that they could win a shootout. I'm not so sure, man. No, it actually went well offensively, but at some point, are you going to adjust and say, well, hold on, we can't get stops? By the way, doesn't that tell you, like, the play calling and how Shanahan schemed for their defense last night? Purdy had guys wide open the entire time.
No Pearsall and Kittle goes out.
Yeah.
Wide open. How about the horrible call on Tongas? But then, bam, McCaffrey wide open on the next play.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it was stealing what he was doing.
Again, he is 2-1 here at Circa to win Coach of the Year. I haven't checked Caesars since this morning, but they had him plus 550 yet. The 1 seed is within reach. Not sure they get it, but if he does, I think maybe shut it down. Clemson, Penn State under, bowl game pending, 48.5. New plays that we have for tonight. NBA, Clippers at home against the Rockets. Rockets are laying a huge number. Clippers have been one of the most disappointing teams in basketball. However, they've been really good early on in these games as of late. They are 19-9 first half ATS. And on a run right now in the first quarter of 9-1-1 straight up, 10-1 ATS as well. I got them plus 2 in the first quarter. And the Grizzlies on a back-to-back now playing in Utah tonight. The Jazz on the year in the first quarter at home, they're 12-4 over and 12-4 ATS. They're also 13-3 ATS first half. Took them plus 105 on the money line to beat Memphis here in the first quarter, and then Reed Shepherd to tie it back into that Clippers game. Clippers have been pretty bad all year long defending the 3 year to date. Shepherd's usage has been back up to where we like it. And he's now plus money again today to make 3 plus 3s. I'll take it at plus 106.
Go get him. What happens if you're in an accident this time of year and the other driver doesn't have insurance or nowhere near enough? Suddenly the plans take a backseat to medical bills, car repairs, and missed work. That's where Al Lasso steps in. Lasso Injury Law. Their experienced team knows the ins and outs of uninsured and underinsured motorist claims, and they fight to make sure you're not left paying for someone else's mistake. Lasso Injury Law is here to protect you and your family when you need it most. 702-625-8777 for a free consultation. No voicemail, no runaround, real people ready to help. Lasso Injury Law. They fight for you because your future matters. Visit lassoinjurylaw.com or call 702-625-8777. Mariota did not practice today. Cowboys 7. Dak says he's going to play and finish out the year. Vikings up to 7.5. It is Browser for the Vikings. McCarthy ruled out. Broncos up to 13.5. Better news on Love today with the Packers, although they were 2.5 against Baltimore. Jackson did say the plan is for him to play. We'll see. And nothing but Cleveland money today. Steelers down to 3 at Cleveland. And also 33.5 the total. Ooh, could get weather, but also what Tomlin said, if the Ravens lose, it's going to impact what we do Sunday.
All right, so how does it look better and go better for Max Brosmer in this game against Detroit? Now the line's all the way up to 7.5.
Bad defense, ton of injuries. Slow it down like they did against the Lions, like the Colts did against Seattle. Limit the possessions, chew the clock, run the football, don't turn it over, and shorten the game.
There's going to be a point, if this number keeps climbing, that I'm still going to be intrigued by Minnesota. Again, he was a nightmare against Seattle. Also, that's Seattle's defense. Compare them to Detroit's defense. Totally different outfits we're talking about here. Also, just think about what happened last Sunday. The Raiders are probably the worst team in the NFL. If you want to nitpick, that's fine. Tell me maybe the Giants are worse, the Titans, that's whatever. I'm not going to argue. The Texans were on an absolute roll. Their defense, maybe the best in the entire league. The Raiders have been clueless and lost on offense now for pretty much the entire year. And they almost won the game. Right? So we're talking about pros here. And when you expect the unexpected, you can expect the unexpected to happen sometimes. And just Brosmer was so rock bottom terrible against Seattle. He's had a couple of weeks. KOC's a really good coach. And the Lions defense is really not good right now. I'm trying to talk this into existence here with Minnesota. And why maybe betting them would not be the worst idea. I haven't yet. I'm not telling you to do it, but I might.
I can't get over. You make it this far. 18,700 people, you're down to the final 10. And 5 people have to take either Minnesota or Washington. Those are their choices. Have to.
What do you do? You asked me earlier. What do you do?
I just think it's... And Tony Farmer's in studio tomorrow, too. It'll be good last-man pod about what to do. But I would take Washington based on game theory and also the equity you pick up because 5 people will be on the Cowboys.
Yeah, you could. That's not a bad angle. You could be the Lone Ranger out there in Washington.
Detroit is minus 355 on the money line at DK. Cowboys are minus 325. Boy, oh boy. To think it's 900,000, more than 900,000 to win 3 to hedge.
Well, think about this, Pauly. Even if Baltimore did not lose on Thanksgiving or Philadelphia didn't go down against Chicago, how many people were still going to have Denver left in this spot? Not a lot.
Yeah, no one has Denver, no one has Detroit.
Right, how many people would have had Detroit left in this spot?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot. Maybe Dallas probably would have been the overwhelming team taken if we still had a couple of people, a couple hundred people left in the contest. But Denver was used on a majority already. Same thing with Detroit. So it's pretty fascinating.
There is an individual who's left, and we'll see if we're making any progress with the chop. I doubt it. But there's an individual who still has Jacksonville left, and he can use Jacksonville Week 18 at home against Tennessee. Oh.
Well, that's when the chop probably isn't happening because
I'm not going to. Right. I have Dallas. I can use the Bengals Sunday laying 7, and I'll use Jacksonville as a double digit.
He has all those options?
Yeah. And
there you go.
I'll use Jacksonville at home laying double digits against Tennessee.
So how much is that entry worth compared to somebody else who was stuck using Washington or Minnesota this week?
You have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Buddy. I'm in tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're off. We'll be back Friday together. I wanted to throw this out there, though, too. FTM@vsin.com. Paul Charchi tomorrow. Fantasy football punishments. Best fantasy football punishments you've heard. Kick that around tomorrow.
Very good. I'll give I'm off tomorrow, as you said. I'll give a last-minute Christmas gift idea if you're really struggling. Ballroom dancing lessons.
All right.
For your wife, girlfriend, vice versa, whatever it is. I put the Mitch Moss stamp of approval on it.
Okay. And J.R. Starkus says buzzballs.
Buzzballs.
Popular at the
Stay
liquor
tuned.
stores.
Tim Murray, Will Hill next. VSiN Prime Time. Have a great Christmas.